So, at the start of this year, you set goals, created a vision board, and you still have yet to live the day in the life that you dreamed of. In this video, that's all going to change. You have 6 months left to this year. It's okay, we're only halfway there. This is going to be all about reprioritizing. In the first video of the year, I showed you exactly what areas I talk about with my virtue clients alone: spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, sexual, and financial. Those are the six most important areas, and if you want to see the breakdown, check out the video. If you watch this video until the end, you will have known the 8 R's that are going to take you from A to B. It's not going to be as hard to transform as it will have been before you've watched this video. Welcome to the heart of the matter, where today is the first, last, only, and best day of your entire life. My name is Julia. I am a feminine virtue and vitality coach, which means that I bring you closer to biblical truth and your biological wisdom in order for you to see that there is nothing outside of you that you need to actually remain whole, complete, and perfect. You're missing nothing, and your worth is entirely in your being alive, especially as a woman. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the Substack, where everything that's in these videos is in written format, and like and comment and share all the things in order to speak my love language, because I love being here with you today as well. As a woman, we need structure. That is what we're missing if we feel that we have to be hard towards the world. It's simply because we don't have that inner strength that allows us to be soft towards the world. So, find the thing that you want to do this year that's going to keep you structured and scheduled so that when you wake up in the morning, you don't even have to consider what it is you're doing. You just know, because of what day it is, how the structure of the day is going to go, and therefore you're not flailing for structure. You're actually held safely within a container. Let me give you an example. I only felt solid in my YouTube journey by January 2025. I had started officially in October 2024, and I really loved it. But I hadn't done anything consistent or disciplined in my entire life. I had never stuck to anything. Before I had my weekly YouTube videos that I was posting every Sunday, I was so afraid to fail, especially in public, because I sought external validation. I thought that others' opinions of me were what my worth meant. Finding a purpose is going to be vital to your femininity coming alive. And you can check out this video for why I think YouTube is actually the best thing you can do to improve your femininity. I was so afraid of being seen, of not being enough, and of failing in public. And that's the point. That is exactly why I put myself in a position where I had to face my fears. Now, what is it this year for you that you know is a challenge, that you know you are avoiding, that you know you are afraid of? Befriend it as best you can. When I gave myself the opportunity to sit in front of a camera and stop being uncomfortable, I had to do it. I had to sit through it. I had to edit and cringe at myself and post until I felt comfortable.
I wish someone had told me this earlier. That's why I'm doing this video more than anything.
The way that the devil gets in, I think, is by having us think that he doesn't exist. I truly believe that when women the world over cross their legs and keep them shut before a man is prepared to commit, that is when we will have some degree of world peace. Eventually, it does become too painful not to try. The first step is to reflect on who you have been and who you are becoming. Reflect on the last 6 months. Who were you at the start? Remember all the years that you've had that desire and you have yet to fulfill it. Do you really want to be here, exactly where you are and have been for possibly years, another year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, even when everyone else around you is growing and reaching their goals? I think that can feel pretty painful. So if you just close your eyes and sit with that pain for a moment, it will give you the motivation that you need to pursue your goals and face your fears. Has it become more painful for you to try than it has to remain where you are? You want to shift the leverage from telling yourself that it's more comfortable to stay where you are to it's actually more comfortable to have tried and failed, which is actually to have learned, than it will have been to never have tried at all. Let's give you some perspective. Put yourself in the shoes of yourself New Year's Eve 6 months from now. Close your eyes and envision back to this moment. What will you have been happy that you achieved? Glad that you tried? Pleased that you let go of? Alongside this release and with those questions in mind, get a piece of paper and brain dump absolutely everything that has been on your mind. All the little to dos, all the life admin, all the new projects, all the new desires, and the new goals that you might want to include on your vision board for the rest of the year, the last half of the year. Really picture yourself surrounded by love with those that you love, and you're about to kiss your partner at midnight, and the people around you are telling you how great you've been this year. And you're so proud that you had the courage to attempt it, feeling more confident, more radiant than ever. Reprioritize. Over the last 6 months, what have you done that gave you energy? And what have you done that drained your energy? You know if something is good for you if by the end of the task you have helped your future self. You know if something is good for you if you feel a lot more enlivened and full of vitality because of it. With your list of brain dumps and the things that you have done that gave you life and that didn't, you can prioritize every single action by rating them from a 1 to 10. What's most important being a 10 and what's least important being a 1. And then also what gave you the most energy being a 10, what gave you the least energy being a 1, to eliminate everything with a low number and keep everything with a high number. At least try to do less of the things that deplete your energy over a long period of time, because as in other videos, I've shown that this is actually serving the enemy versus the truth, and what feels aligned to your biology is going to give you that energy because that comes from God, that comes from the creator and inspiration. Recognize, who am I when nobody is watching? Even myself. Sometimes we're lying to ourselves. Sometimes our subconscious mind plays out habits that we don't even recognize that we do. What is your default when you are alone? How do you perform when other people react in ways that you didn't expect? What do you see about yourself that you wouldn't previously have accepted about yourself? Because this is your real identity. Self concept is so vital. When you acknowledge who you truly are fully, is when you can embrace absolutely anything that shows up. This, in the long run, is going to raise your resilience. It's going to strengthen your emotional intelligence, and it's going to deepen your bond with your self trust, your capacity to face life and anything that it has to throw at you, because we know that life is never going to stop. It'll keep being noisy. Self reflect. When you recognize what your weaknesses are, you can bridge that with your strengths, and your authenticity gap actually closes. You can check out this video to hear more about what I'm talking about. Rejoice. Congratulate yourself for every place you have been this year. In the last 6 months, what have you managed to do that you couldn't have done before? What were you able to confront that you were afraid of? What invitation have you said yes to when you didn't think you had it in you? Who have you helped? This is your proof. Acknowledging where you have been is going to make you proud. And not only that, if you actually start to see what it is that you have achieved, you're going to recognize that it's true, that everything comes to me easily. Because it does. As a woman, it always does. It magnetizes when you radiate. Keep this in perspective because sometimes we can be our own biggest critics. Notice where you've been, congratulate yourself, and rejoice. I myself was able to take off the North Coast 500 picture off of my vision board because I went there in a van with my mom and we had the best time because I always wanted to go to Scotland. I feel like it's part of my roots and I loved it. Also, I went to see Dermot Kennedy in Boston in March. So I experienced St. Patrick's Day in what is bigger than in Ireland. I had the time of my life and I am so, so grateful to God for even providing for this. I also had these beautiful pictures on my vision board so that I could host a dinner party outside, and I got to do that with my friends for lunch on my birthday, where I baked the cake, I baked the quiche, and I really enjoyed dressing up and spending that quality time with the people that I love. But had I not had that on my vision board, I probably would have gone with my sister's idea to go out for dinner instead. So this is why keeping your goals super intact and illustrated is such a big part. Actually, our subconscious mind thinks in images, because if I tell you, don't think of a pink elephant, what have you just thought of? Our subconscious mind doesn't speak in yes or no, it simply speaks in images. So when you give yourself that vision board, you can really make it come to life. I put it right at the end of my bed where I see it every single morning when I wake up and right before I go to sleep. What I also have on my vision board is my lovely hair. It has always been a struggle because I live in Mexico and it is highly humid here, but I go to sleep with my overnight curlers and I will pull them out right before I go to church or I film a video, and it always looks presentable and beautiful. And I'm so pleased that I have been making it happen, as well as YouTube, as well as having great time with friends. What I do need to improve on, I know, is movement. I want to get to a point where I have such strength in my body, I can do calisthenics and handstands and all these sorts of things. What I want to improve, I know, is having the finances to be able to one day buy a home. And so we're working steadily towards this, but those pictures on my vision board really inspire me to that goal. I know that they will be part of my life at some point. When is God's timing? But I trust. That is all. Taking the action. So it's vital to rejoice in where you've been. Reframe failures as wins or losses into lessons. Romans 8:28 says everything happens for our good. So this is the question, how is this for my good? How is this for me to be stronger still? How has every weapon that was formed against me actually what put me higher still? When you're able to reframe your losses as wins, to actually have the perspective when they're happening or once they've happened, how did this happen for my good? How is this for my greatest peace? This sense of joy and vitality and fullness, completeness, perfection arising from what seemed like a blip in the story, what seemed like an end. When you ask yourself this question, you are capable of becoming the author and owning your story. When we don't own what belongs to us, which is our life, that is where shame and guilt grow. So it's up to you to decide, yes, this happened, and this is how I faced it. That's why I began this video with face your fears, actually be able to show by the end of the year that you have taken calculated risks and you are so pleased that you tried them. Because when you are able to rid yourself of this shame and guilt, when the things that feel like thorns in your side are reframed into, well, the beautiful rose that came with them, you're actually fueling the vitality and the capacity of chi and energy and eros and the life force in your body that you're able to hold. Your capacity widens when you give yourself that new perspective. This means that the weight is dropped from your soul. The stone falls from your story. And this is how Vitality Calls with Me help, because German New Medicine is the map to how our bodies are trying to speak with us. Our symptoms are actually the messengers for the root of what we experienced in the past. So it may not be trauma, it may just be tiny little things that we have experienced that actually irked us, an event, a conflict shock that we felt split our energy and we were no longer in integrity in that moment, possibly because we didn't speak up, because something frightened us so much and we didn't address it, and ultimately because we shamed ourselves or pushed away the emotion that we truly felt. In these calls, I help you recognize what that might have been and hopefully give you the perspective to play out a special biological program fully in order to allow a symptom to no longer be chronic, but to actually fully heal. The link for these vitality calls are in the description below. Rewrite the story for your next 6 months. Now that you're owning everything that's happened until now, you can go forth deciding what habits am I going to build and create. In fact, in order to have a stronger emotional intelligence, I made you a whole video on how to have healthy habits to balance those biochemicals. What rewriting your story actually looks like is from that point of view of you at New Year's this year, you're looking back and you're recognizing everything you've done. So 6 months from now, what you've managed to do, where you've managed to be, and how you've been able to feel, which is actually what we want to pinpoint. How am I wanting to feel? What habits actually give me that feeling? Because for someone, a workout is going to be the best thing they can do for their health, whereas for someone else, stretching is going to give them that peace of mind. It simply is different for every single person. So, what intention are you approaching the habit with? It's never what you do, but rather how you do it. So, I want you to get your piece of paper and to work out 6-month goals, 3-month goals, where you'll have been 1 month from now and every single month, and then work that and pare that down into every single week and then every single day. What I do is actually get out my iPhone notes every single day. I use that actually. I have my months, and every month I have the goals. And if I don't manage them that month, I actually just drag them on to the next month. And I do the same with my daily tasks. I have life admin under every day. I have the days of the month that I know specific things are happening, but otherwise, I'm just dragging on the tasks onto the next day. And that totally works for me to keep things in perspective and to be able to prioritize. And it may be different for you. Maybe you use Notion or some other tool to keep yourself organized, but that's what works for me. What you definitely want to do is put everything on your calendar, the things that you love, the social days, as well as the meetings that you have for work. Because this keeps a very holistic relationship with your calendar. It's not something that you avoid, it's actually something that you get to do because you're choosing to do it and you're owning every single thing that's in your calendar. I even put in painting time, sewing time, and I have so many more hobbies now because I've put them on my calendar. I meet up with my Mexican grandma twice a week where I teach her how to paint and she teaches me how to sew. It's a fantastic way to gain more hobbies as a feminine woman because I've never been able to do this before simply because I didn't prioritize it. I didn't put it in my calendar. Don't tell yourself you want to do something if you're not doing it. We're only actually living the life that we're already living. Make your habits simple, put them in your calendar, and do them. Because if you don't, you're lying to yourself about wanting this life because you're not living it. Reclaim your radiance and romanticize your life, which I love to help you do in other videos as well. That's what this channel is all about, so please subscribe if you want to become a feminine woman full of virtue and vitality. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, that it helps you reset for the next 6 months. Check in and comment below. I would love to help celebrate you and rejoice with you as to where you've been so far and where you're going to be going and where you're going to be on New Year's at the end of the year. This is your life. Nothing is out to get you. You choose who's in your life, who isn't, what you get to do, what you don't. I know a lot of us have 9 to 5s, and that may sometimes feel like slave work, but get up earlier then. Don't make excuses for the woman that you know you've always wanted to be. We can talk about those relationships and those areas in your life that you feel you're falling short on in our virtue calls that are available at the link below. Here are some testimonials from women that I've helped over the years. I've been a coach for 5 years now, and I just love seeing the transformation in your lives. Until next week, as my grandma always said, harden at your heart, love and serve each other.